where I want my handle to go. The book that we have, Claire Yelling's book, which is a great book, actually talks about this, and she doesn't really like the handles to come straight out of the lip, but I actually do. So I'm going to do that. But she will say something about, and she has some pretty good reasons for not wanting it to go straight out of here. Some people will make it straight out of the place where it changes direction. There's sort of a line here, and that might be a logical place. But you do need to think about where you're going to place it. It is something usually that your whole hand is going to go into. Of course, there could be some options to that. But I'm going to have it reach from here to here. Probably the most important thing is for you to look carefully at the negative space. Don't have it extend too far off the picture. It's something that's really interesting to me because when I show just show people a picture with a handle that goes off too far, everybody can see it right away. But when you're doing it yourself, a lot of people tend to do that. So just be aware that you don't want it to extend off too far. So I'm going to score it with my magic scoring tool. I'm going to score it down here where I think it's going to attach. I'm going to add some water. I usually, if my picture is a little dry, I'll do this first and let the water kind of soak into that spot a little bit, and then do it again, sort of redo it. I almost always rescore it just to make sure I'm getting that water sort of well established there. Then I'm going to take my handle and score this area. This is pretty wet clay, so I'm really not going to worry about scoring it down there. It's really not necessary. It's going to stick just fine without that, because I'm going to attach it a little bit differently. But I want to be a little careful when I attach it up at the top, because I don't want to squeeze it this way when I'm pushing it on, because I don't want to lose that nice fluid clean profile. So after I've scored it and added water, I'm going to go ahead and attach it very gently, but firmly. Gently but firmly. I'm going to pull my picture all the way to the side of the table so I can push it on there. I'm not going to worry too much about the edges first. They're rough looking, but I'm going to get the handle attached first, and then I'm going to deal with that later. And I like my handles to go sort of have a little bit of a rise before they go back down. I wasn't taught that way, but I sort of like the way that looks. So I'm going to get down here and look at the profile. If I attach my handle where I said I was going to attach it, can you see that that's just too much handle? It's just way too big. So I'm just going to get down here. I could have actually attached it lower, but I think I will. Just erase that. And score it a little bit lower. I'm trying to take the weight off of this joint up there because I don't want it to just hang. So I'm going to score. I'm also going to trim it off just a little bit, I think. Yeah. And then I'm just going to push it into that spot. And I like that negative space a lot more than the other one. It's a subtle difference, but I like that. So I'm just going to push this onto here. Different people do different things. Some people have a real signature, leave some really, really visible marks, some finger marks. Some people might use a stamp to push it in there. That's up to you. It's all cosmetic. And then I can go back to this area up here and fix that so that it's nice and clean and pretty looking. Some people leave the attachment showing as sort of a decorative element. I've got a mug I just love that has kind of a big sort of smooshy bed of clay up at the top, and I don't seem to be able to do that. I keep trying and I'm just not very good at it. So mine are usually pretty clean. You can also take a really narrow tool and push that down where you can't get your finger to push, so that it's nice and clean. And then I clean it up with my sponge at the end. If there's any place where my finger, it's a little lumpy up here where I was handling it, so I might take a little bit of water and clean up that curve a little bit. But I'm trying not to touch this any more than I possibly can, because I've got a nice fluid curve right now, and I don't want to mess that up. When it's leather hard, I can go back and, again, if I have some fingerprints or a little bit more smoothing or something to do, I can do that. But right now I just want to leave it like it is. Again, if I had to set like a box or something up here to prop that against to keep that curve, it's too wet to attach. So usually what I do is pull a handle and just wait for the sheen of the water to go away. So it's still pretty wet, but it's not slippery like a fish. And then it's usually, it usually works pretty well. Okay.